Being in a sad girl era means that you are not fully functioning at your highest or even at your happiest. And if that is something that you've been experiencing like I have been experiencing, and you want some tips on how to come out of this era, then definitely keep watching this video because that's what we're going to go over today. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is your fave Alicia, and welcome back to another video. So yes, you guys, I am really happy to be sitting down and doing this video with you all today because first off, I used to be a mental health therapist. If you're unaware, I was a mental health therapist for a very long time, and I switched professions, and now I am a social work college professor. And I just feel so grateful to have worked in the mental health field for as long as I did, because I feel like I have learned a lot and I'm able to share what I've learned with others like you who have clicked on this video. And regardless of my profession, I'm a person, I'm a mom, I wear so many hats. So I personally have experienced mental health, people around me have experienced mental health challenges. So I'm just excited to be here to share some gems and some tips with you. So let's get into it. So first off, I like to call it a sad girl era just because sometimes language matters. Sometimes when you hear that word depression, there's a certain stigma that comes with it, right? Especially if you're an individual who is a minority. So such as me, I'm African American, right? So when I hear that word depression, there is a long historical history behind, oh, you're not depressed, oh, you're just sad, oh, pray about it, oh, this, oh. Okay, listen, so that we don't even run into that stigma right now, let's just call it sad girl era, okay? So yeah. So I think the first thing that needs to happen when you realize like, oh, I'm in a sad girl era, or I'm experiencing a depressive episode, you first have to know the signs. That is very, very, very important. In the mental health world, we say know the symptoms. What are you experiencing? What's going on, right? So if you're in your sad girl era, you might notice that you feel way less motivated to do things, right? So maybe I'm not motivated to get up in the morning and take care of myself, do my hair, put on nice clothes, take a bath, right? So my self-care is just not there because I'm less motivated. Maybe you're less motivated to do the things that you love. So for me, I love making YouTube videos, and if you haven't noticed, I haven't been really making a lot of YouTube videos, and that's because I just feel way less motivated to do that. So my motivation is gone. I'm noticing, or you may notice, that your moods are changing, right? And they may be changing to where you do feel more sad, or you're crying more, or they may be the opposite. You're more irritable. You just don't want to be around people. You're saying mean things. You're being mean to yourself. So maybe you're having like negative self-talk, right? Or maybe you're just being negative to other people and you're displaying emotions towards people that you usually don't do. So maybe you're yelling at your kids a lot. Maybe you're yelling at your spouse or your partner a lot more. Right? Maybe at your job, you're being more uptight with people or being more snappy with people, right? So maybe you start to notice that. Or maybe you're noticing signs in your appetite, right? Maybe you've had an increase in appetite and you're like always snacking. You're finding yourself more hungry and you're like, oh my gosh, I just ate a hamburger. Like, why do I want another hamburger? Why do I want chips now? Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you've noticed like, I actually don't want anything to eat. Or maybe it's like 8 o'clock at night and you look up and you're like, actually, I don't think I've ate anything today, like not even a turkey sandwich, right? So it can be changes in your appetite. It can also be changes in the way that you socialize with people. Maybe you are just being more isolated. Maybe you're keeping more to yourself. You're not calling your friends, you're not returning texts, you're not hanging out with your family, right? So you're just finding yourself in your own little bubble. These are just some of the many signs or symptoms that you might be displaying or noticing in yourself that can be an indicator to you that something's going on. Am I depressed? Am I having anxiety? Like, what is going on? I feel like I might be in a sad girl era. So once you kind of realize the signs and you see the signs, and maybe people are even telling you like, hey, I've noticed you're not talking to me more, or why are you not returning my texts, right? So however you figure out and you're like, okay, these are the signs, like, okay, I think I'm in a sad girl era. Now what do you do, right? So my personal opinion or my personal tips on what you should do now is allow yourself to go through the motions by giving yourself a time period. So what I mean by that is, if you realize for like the last 2 weeks you feel less motivated, you've been eating less, you just don't want to talk to people, right? That is when you're in the stage of unconsciously not realizing what you're experiencing. But once you recognize the signs, now you're more conscious. So now you're saying to yourself, okay, I want to change this. I don't want to be less motivated. I actually want to be more motivated. I actually do want to go to the gym. I actually do want to talk to my friends, right? But you still feel sad, right? Maybe you're still upset about something. Something has happened, whether you're grieving, you lost someone in your life, whether a change has happened in your relationship, a change has happened in your life with job, whatever that may be. Now that you're conscious about it, this is when you need to give yourself a time frame of, I am only going to allow myself the next 2 days to go through these motions and process what I'm feeling. After that, I'm going to actively make the changes to get out of my sad girl era. So again, give yourself a time frame, because a lot of times, and especially for women, especially for moms, right, we try to bypass this and we're like, oh, we're noticing like that we're less motivated, so we try to like throw all these feelings and all these emotions in the back of our head, and we just try to just go past it and just be a better person, which of course that's what you want to do, but you are doing yourself a disservice by not sitting with yourself and processing, well, what is going on? Why am I less motivated? What is happening? Let me listen to myself. Let me listen to myself. Let me listen to my emotions. Let me show myself grace. Let me actually allow myself to cry. Maybe I need a period to cry. Maybe I need 24 hours to cry. Right? Maybe I just need to sit in my room, watch a little TV, and cry and eat some ice cream. And that is okay. Okay? We have to stop telling women that, and women or young girls, that they shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be crying. Just get over it. Don't cry. Journal. Do this. Do that. No. Let them feel their emotions. They're human. You're human. Feel your emotions, but give yourself a time stamp. Do not allow yourself 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? A lot can change in those weeks. That is too long, right? So my like professional and just like sis to sis, woman to woman tip is, give yourself anywhere from like 1 day to like 4 days. 1 to 4 days to say, okay, I recognize that I'm in my sad girl era. Let me sit in it. Let me process it. Let me get all my emotions out so that then I can start to do the work. Okay, so that was tip number 2. So tip number 3, once you've reached that timestamp period and you said to yourself, okay, I'm giving myself 3 days to be angry, or I'm giving myself 3 days to be sad. And the great thing about giving yourself a timestamp is it helps you get motivated to change, right? So that's why I always say, give yourself that time. So now that you're motivated to change, now you have to do the internal work. So in this stage, when you're doing the internal work, this is where you're going to reach out for support, right, within yourself and also within others. So if you can, right, this is a stage where maybe you're going to contact a therapist and you're going to start therapy, right? I am a big advocate for therapy. I know that sometimes finding a therapist may be hard, it may be scary, you don't know what that can look like, but sis, trust me, a therapist will be there for you in ways that you cannot even imagine. It is going to help you so much. And please know, like, even if you feel like I don't have insurance, I don't have money, there is still a therapist out there that will see you. So in my description box, I'm going to leave some resources on where you can find a therapist, okay? So even outside of a therapist, if you're not there yet, if you're just one of those people, you're like, okay, I want to do the internal work, but I don't want to work with a therapist just yet, sis, that is a-okay, because there are so many other coping skills that you can do. So outside of a therapist, a part of doing the internal work is getting back to you. You gotta kind of process out these feelings. While you was processing in step 2, in my tip number 2, you know, giving yourself that time, this is where you're gonna really sit with yourself. So this is where you're gonna start doing things like journaling. You're gonna actually bring out those emotions, bring out those thoughts, bring out those feelings, and make it real by putting it on paper, or making it real and putting it in your phone app, right? Because I'm a notes app girly. Like, my apps, my notes, I know they hate to see me coming, baby, because I be, you know, like, I'm all in the app, okay? I'm all in the notes, writing down my feelings, my emotions, how I feel. And I'm telling you, once you do that, whew, it's gonna feel like a weight lifted off your shoulder, because you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so glad I got that out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's where you're gonna do things like journaling. And a great way that you can journal, if you don't want to do it at home, you can like go to a park and journal, sit in front of like a lake, or just sit somewhere peaceful by yourself, because exiting your sad girl era, is the internal work has a lot to do with you as well, just you. It's kind of more of a solo thing. So outside of journaling, some of us ladies, we like to get support from others, which is great. So maybe we like getting support from our friends, from our family members, our mom, our dad, someone that we trust, right? So when you get support during that internal stage, this is the stage where you gotta be honest. Like, if you really want people to support you and you really want to like exit your sad girl era, you gotta be honest. You gotta say, Mom, this is what's been going on, and because of this, like, I'm not feeling good, right? Like, I've had some changes happen in my relationship, and it's really daunting me. It's like really making me sad. It's making me have self-esteem issues. Like, whatever it is, if you want to get support from people, be honest with people, right? And tell people what you want from them. If you just want somebody to vent to, just tell them that, sis, I called you today because I just want to vent. I just want to tell you about what's going on. Or if you want people to like help you find solutions, say, Mom, like, I called you to vent, but I also want your help. Like, what do you think I should do? What are some of your suggestions, right? So yes, so definitely reach out support in this internal stage. And then also a part of doing the internal work is also getting back to your beliefs. Like, some of us have certain beliefs, whether that's religious, whether that's spiritual beliefs. And sometimes what I've noticed, like when you're in your sad girl era, you kind of move away from that, right? So if you are someone who's Christian, you kind of move away from praying. You kind of move away from going to church, right? So this is the era, this is the stage where you're like, you got to pick that back up, because there are certain morals and values that your religion or your spirituality has that can pour back into you and help you get back on a path of being happy and not in this sad girl era. So for me, that's going to church more, that's praying more, that's relying on God and trusting in Him and His word for me, and trusting in His path for me, right? Because a lot of times I get in this sad girl era because I want to be in control, and I think I know what needs to happen for my life, and this is what I need to do. So, and the whole time I'm not talking to God, I'm not asking God, like, is this actually the path for me? You know? So again, I would encourage you that if you do have a certain religious or you do have a certain spiritual belief, to get back to that, right? Ask God for discernment, right? Listen to God's voice more. So yes, doing the internal work is super important. And there's really like no time stamp on, you know, how long you should be in that internal stage. Like, hopefully you stay in it for a while, because journaling can be a coping skill that you have for forever. You don't just need to journal when things are going horrible in your life. Like, even when things are going great, I would always encourage you to journal and process through that, right? And reach out to support and talk to a therapist, even when your life is going great. That is such a great coping skill, to still be in therapy. That is a way to stay afloat instead of going back into these sad girl eras. So let's move to tip number 4, which is going to be doing the external work. So now that we've already been working on ourselves doing the internal work, now we're gonna move to the external work. And this is where we're gonna pick up our self-care. This is when you are going to really work on your outside. Now that I've done the inside, I'm gonna work on my outside. So that could look like making sure that I am taking my daily baths, making sure I do like Epsom salt baths, making sure my hair looks presentable, making sure maybe if nails is something that you like, making sure your nails look presentable, right? So, and this is a part where I think a lot of people get mixed up. I think a lot of people go straight into this. They go straight into the external work when they're like, oh, I'm sad. Oh, I just need my hair done. Oh, I just need my nails done. Oh, I just need to go get a drink with my friends. Boo, you only doing part of the work by doing that. Like, the internal work is just as important as the external work, but you need both in order to exit your sad girl era. I will say that. And also, people seem to forget, like, to get your hair done, boo, that take money. Like, what if you just are not in a financial place where you can do that, right? But that still does not mean that you don't do anything to your hair. You just use whatever you can to be a better you, to look like a better you, right? So if I'm someone maybe who was financially struggling and I didn't have money to go get boho knotless, right? But I do have money to go to the hair store and get me some gel, right? And learn how to do like a low bun in my hair with the baby hairs and swoop it nice. and I look like 10 times better, you know? So again, work with what you have, okay? So if you want to get your nails done but you just don't have the money, babes, go get some $5 press-ons. Like even the Dollar Tree has press-ons now. Like again, work with what you have. Don't break your budget. But again, you even consciously going out there and trying to make changes to upgrade your looks means that you are exiting your sad girl era. Okay, so tip number 5, now that we learned the signs, now that we've gone through, we gave ourselves a time to process how we're feeling, now that we've done the internal work, now that we're working on the external work, now is tip 5, we're gonna let it go. Let it go, you guys. This is the killer. Let it go. And I know y'all like, what do you mean? You know what I mean. You know what is really making you sad. You know. And I'm not saying let it go. So if it's a person making you sad, I'm not saying like let that person go. But if you need to, you need to. But what I'm saying is let the pressure of trying to control the situation go. Let it go, okay? So if there is something that you're experiencing in a relationship, at a job, within your family, right? A lot of times you have no control over that. You have no control sometimes over what happens to you at a job or how a person in a relationship treats you, right? But you do have control over how you react to it. So because you have all control of yourself, that is the very reason why you're going to let it go, and you're not going to let it consume you anymore or take over your mental or make you sad, right? This is when you've gotten to a point where you're like, you know what, actually this situation, it may be bad, but I can change my perspective on it, right? So that is a way to let something go. If something has happened in your relationship and somebody has maybe like betrayed your loyalty, right, you can say to yourself, you know what they did was horrible. I do not like the way they treat me, but I can change my perspective on it now. I can say now I know what type of person I'm dealing with. Now I can implement certain boundaries. Now I can go on. Maybe I can exit this relationship and go in another relationship. Or if you choose to stay, like I said, maybe I'm going to implement some more boundaries. Or maybe I'm going to change the way I treat this person so that I don't feel so horrible knowing that this person has done something to me, right? So it's always ways that you can change your perspective and let that situation go so that it does not control your mental anymore. Because think about it, you've done all this work. You're talking to a therapist, you're doing the internal work, you've been journaling, maybe you're working out now, maybe you got back into some hobbies, maybe you're getting more support from your family, right? Why would you let go? Why would you let all of this go to waste? Because you are still here trying to control the situation and make sense of it. I know it's hard, and I know sometimes we get stuck here, especially us women. We get stuck. We're such analyzers. We want to figure out, why did this happen? But sometimes that is the very thing that is keeping you in this sad girl era. And in order to exit it, you have to let it go. You gotta let it go, sis, okay? The sooner you let it go, the sooner that you say that I'm just gonna continue living for myself. If you have children, I'm gonna live for myself and my children and not for this situation, you will be a happy girl. And that is when you will say to yourself, I think that I am exiting my sad girl era, okay? And just know, do not feel like this needs to happen in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. No, this may be a process. Mental health, your mental well-being, your happiness, it's a process, you guys. So it might even take you 3 months, 2 months, who's to say? But as long as you're actively working on it and trying to exit your sad girl era, you're going to get there, okay? I am telling you, you're going to get there. And please remember that you matter. Your feelings are valid. Your mental health matters. Your happiness is important to you, should be important to you. And just know there's other people in your life that care about you and they want to see you happy as well. But again, you are loved, sis, and it's time for you to get out of your sad girl era, okay? That don't look good on you, that don't look good on me, and it's time to be happy again, okay? Because we are so deserving of that. So hopefully you found those tips super helpful. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Please leave down in the comments if you have any more tips that can help the girlies that are watching this video, any tips that can help me. I'm always all ears. But anyways, thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching all the way through. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you on my next video. Peace. I just wanna be your favorite. I just wanna be your